So I don't know who. I was like, who has to go to the bathroom here? What are we doing?
Me. I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, Sammy's the one that wasn't even on the screen. This is fantastic. Oh my gosh, this show, this Russian nightclub show.
Man,
yeah, he was excited. Aaron's excited. Welcome to Vegas Square Gambling Show. You're welcome, Aaron. It's in the title now, so
I like it.
Yeah, okay, I bet you do. I'm Michael Carvelis, the producer. That's Aaron Crouch, the Vegas Square. How are you, Aaron?
I'm good. What a start to the year. I mean, we're already without controversy here. You know, yeah, a toe down in the end zone, and that's all it takes. But it's crazy.
Well, you would have heard Sammy's point had you joined earlier. Sammy, how are you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Yeah, I mean, if he was wearing a size 10, that's a touchdown for sure.
And I know East likes that reference for the Kevin Durant scenario, right? Size 10.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Bush?
I love the Kevin Durant reference. I love that one, and I love this one too. And hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with wearing a size 10. I'm a size 10. You know, it's okay.
Sorry, bud. That's a small foot.
Double digits.
I wear a size 14 if it helps you. Nobody asked that. But yeah. Oh, I did not put it in the title, right? That was my fault. Anyways, we're recovering from what felt like Sunday Night Football. Let's get into this game. Well, first, I must mention this show is based on betting. And before we do any recaps or analysis here are the standings of the piggy bank. Aaron, you're at 985 now. And how'd you do last week, sir? Have you got kind of broke into it a little bit?
In the piggy bank, I'm 2-0 last week, so the college game was good to me. Got back above the other two here.
Love it, Sammy. You're 978, just hanging on to second place. You did break in, and they shafted you, so it was there. I blame these two.
I succumbed to the peer pressure, and I got punished. Never again.
As you should.
You don't play with your money, Sammy. Deets 975. Talk about them. Aaron brought this out on the morning show. You mushed yourself. 3-3 is just brutal.
Yeah, well, we got off to a 3-0 start. I thought we were off to the races. But yeah, mine and Sammy's my favorite bet of the week last week, A&M. Sammy liked it so much he jumped on, liked all the same things I did. I love it. We gave Aaron so much trash last week for teasing college football. Well done, Aaron. Nice pick. Our favorite bet went to the wasteland. You're very smart. We're very ugly. Blah, blah.
Ugly, man. This ain't dumb. I don't know where ugly came from.
They correlated.
Quote.
It's a correlated parlay, ugly and dumb.
We're sitting here losing money. You're a winner. Tease away this week. I can't wait to see what kind of teasers you got for us this week.
I don't want credit for the teasers. I just want credit for the Notre Dame victory. That's all I want.
That was good. Yes, Riley Leonard. I mean, one of the main reasons we liked Notre Dame or A&M is because the A&M coach was Coach Riley Leonard.
You want to clean up your beer cans in there, buddy?
No, I got a little puppy running around here. He's chewing. So I got to shut my door. So no, I guess it doesn't matter if he's a bad coach. You know, you can have all the inside knowledge of somebody if you want, but if you suck at your job, it doesn't do you any good, you know.
Dietz has already got Elko fired before he coaches game 2.
Those two defenses play great. Notre Dame's play better.
Yeah. Aaron, I don't know if you saw. Okay, bye, Dietz. Okay. This is a midnight show.
This is a hat backwards show, I feel.
And Aaron's also on the midnight train with me today. No pun intended for was it Journey? Sing that song? No, got it. Who sang Midnight Train?
I don't know that.
Wasn't that like
AC/DC?
The Supremes or something? The Midnight Train to Georgia?
No, it might have been
like
Journey. I don't know.
Either way, this midnight shit is for the birds. I need to go back to the 9 a.m. starts.
West Coast.
This is my third show of the day.
9 p.m. starts. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going back to the West Coast.
That's
Ugh.
close to
we
me.
miss you.
Yeah. So let's jump into college football week number 2. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I hope Aaron can hold it for the next 20-ish minutes. Okay.
Get me a commercial break soon.
Okay. Texas is at -7.5 against Michigan. The total's at 42.5. It's Saturday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. for those two down there. Huge game. Michigan did not look great, but they still won against a frisky Fresno State team. Nice alliteration there by me, by the way. Texas started slow but finished against their God knows whatever team they played again. Thoughts on this game? Aaron, go first, sir.
Yeah, I'll be opening up the piggy bank for this game, so I'll keep it light with this one. I feel like we're looking at an overreaction in this spot to both teams. I think we've got a situation here. Even the total, I feel, is low. I know Michigan plays great defense. And take what you want from Texas over their win over Colorado State here, but I think there's a buy low point on one of these teams. I think I've given away my hand here. I've tipped my hand at this point, but give me the dog in the big house. I think that's my play in this spot. Texas, Quinn Ewers. I've never been sold on this guy. I get it. 3 touchdowns last week. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm not saying that he needs to be benched. I don't see it with Quinn Ewers for 3 years now. But by the flip side, I don't know if Michigan's offense is going to get going here in this spot. I'm gonna bank my dollars on that defense in the big house with the crowd. Give me Texas with the hook there.
You have a terrible poker face. We're saving that for piggy bank, and this guy just like giving it all away. Sammy, go ahead.
So I am not opening up the piggy bank for this game, but I will say that the big house is being completely devalued here. I mean, this is a tough place to play, and going on the road in college football.
So is Florida.
Yeah, well, the Swamp is no longer a tough place to play.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. That was my.
It's still a tough place to play, and Michigan has a lot of pride. They still have a good squad. I'm not sold on their coaching. I'm not sold on their quarterback, but you still have to go on the road and win in a really tough environment against a really stout defense. If I had to lean one way or the other, I think Texas wins a real close fight, but 7.5, come on, man. This is still Michigan. I mean, this is still a tough place to play.
It's been steam too, man. It started at 5-4 in the summer, and we're talking 7.5. There's no end in sight. I mean, can we touch 8, 9? I don't know, but I mean, you've got to have a buyback right here with Michigan. It just feels like a no-brainer, right? I
mean, if you were a teasing person in college football, teasing Michigan up to 14 would be a genius play, in my opinion. But I would never tease in college football.
So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that because there is this scenario.
Well, let Deets go first, and then we'll get to Aaron's point again.
That's so funny you said that, Sammy, because I actually thought about teasing Texas down in this one once it got over 7.5. Aaron, you're right. This steamed way up. I think 3.5 or 4 was what the opening line was, and now we've got over 7.5. I can't bet Michigan. I wish you luck. I thought about opening in the piggy bank for Texas here. But for me, I'm reminded we got Quinn Ewers still starting for Texas, and you got Arch Manning waiting on the sidelines, the superstar on waiting. And I can't help but be remembered. You two are probably a little too young to remember a guy named Drew Henson, who played for Michigan and did 30 years ago. And he was supposed to be the young up-and-comer superstar, number 1 draft pick. And there was a guy who kept him on the bench for the first year by the name of Tom Brady. So I was 10 years fighting off, Arch Manning over here. The crowd wants Arch Manning. That Texas big oil money, they want Arch Manning. And Quinn Ewers he's been in these situations before. Played Alabama last year, to beat them on the road. Like he's played in these situations before. I don't think the big house will scare him off. I think he's the perfect quarterback for this type of game. If this came back under a touchdown, I could see myself getting involved with Texas here, but over 7 in a low-scoring game, I decided just to leave it alone. I got plenty of other bets that I put my money on, and so I like Texas in this spot. I could see him running away with it, like Quinn Ewers, but I could see him keeping it close.
Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on Sammy talking about the teasing, it's crazy. Like I am okay teasing college football, but it doesn't mean I just pull the trigger on everything in this spot. There is a scenario where this gets out of hand in favor of Texas. I mean, like you said, I see 5.5 opening up here, and I'm like, I even texted. I think I texted you guys. I was like, is this free money? Like, this makes no sense. I see the buyback here at Michigan plus 7.5. I mean, by your logic, yes, if I like 7.5, I should be teasing 14.5. But there are scenarios where if I'm not covering 7.5, this thing gets out of hand at, 28-14, things like that, 28-12, or excuse me, 28-10. Like, things can get out of hand because Texas is the better offensive team. And if Michigan doesn't play defense, I don't see it right now. They're literally bare in the cupboard on offense, in my opinion, except for Donovan Edwards, who really didn't do much last week against Fresno.
No, he barely produced. And, this walk-on quarterback that Michigan has, he was very unimpressive in a spot where I felt like he really needed to be impressive to just give them a boost of confidence. And, they didn't have a tough matchup. I mean, Fresno, they're spunky, but their defense did not get much pressure. They couldn't get a lot of momentum against their offensive line. And so, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Michigan should have put up a big number on them, and they just didn't. Which obviously why the line is moving, right? People are worried. They're not confident, and I can understand.
I think if we play this game 2 months from now in the same scenario, you'd be looking at a double-digit favorite for Texas. I think Michigan will end the year outside the top 25. I think Texas
Yes,
short list of one of the 5 teams, 5 teams with a realistic chance at a title. I think I going into the week when I started looking, I was expecting me to open up the piggy bank for this game. I backed off of it at the last minute here. Doesn't mean I might not have a personal bet on it. I might still talk myself into it, but I think we might be looking at this as an actual short line in anywhere as close to as a month from now.
I want crossfire on that top 25 bet.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'll just play devil's advocate here for I think Aaron and Sammy, and not to get too much for myself here, but last time I checked, Michigan didn't win anything since they started sign stealing, like before they started sign stealing. And after that, I mean, that's a real thing. That is not a hypothetical. That is a real scenario where Ryan Day cooked them, and all of a sudden Ryan Day's on the hot seat. Michigan's some great juggernaut. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, truthfully, they haven't been winning since Brady stopped inflating the balls on Michigan sideline. So, I mean, it took another scandal for them to get
Very
back on
good,
top.
Sammy. Yes. More cheating. I love it.
I guess maybe that's where he learned it from. Went back to his roots. Maybe it was Brady all along. Was he teaching Belichick all those things?
Brady's the master.
It's just like a Michigan thing. That's why I mean, I
got
don't
a
want to kill
friend.
the
We can go
Wolverines
film
here.
some practices. What do you think of this, Bill?
Spygate. The kids will
Tom
love it.
Brady production.
Oh God. Aaron, do you really have to go to the bathroom? Because we can just take a break and do the rest of them soon.
I'm a big boy. I can hold it.
I'm just waiting for the PP dance. That should be like another graphic of its own. All right. Let's do this one because I swear when I wrote this down earlier, it was Oregon minus 20. It's now Oregon minus 21.5, and the total is going down 0.5 point. And I don't get that. But my bookie's crazy like that. I'm kidding. That's disrespectful. Boise State at Oregon. Can Oregon bounce back? That's why I put this game in here. Because Oregon, despite doing Gabriel's stat line, I mean, they beat Idaho 24-14. Boise State had a shootout with Georgia Southern. Hey, Statesboro. Aaron, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, you want to talk about the Texas line? I mean, this is opening up the floodgates. This was 16.
Wow.
15.5 at the beginning of this week, and it has moved up and up and up. I wouldn't be shocked if this thing closed 24. I know that sounds absurd, but you're trying to catch a falling knife at this point. This is in my piggy bank. And just from me submitting these picks, it's moved 1.5 points.
Yeah.
So I'm not even 100% sure at this point. We still have, an hour before we may have to give those picks. I might have to put those coins back in the bank at this point. I'm not even 100% sure. I don't know what to do with this. I love everything about Oregon bouncing back. It's just I know Sammy's big high on Boise State, but I mean, Dylan Gabriel was the highest paid transfer in college football this year, well, tied with Cam Ward.
Played well.
And we all saw, whether we watched it or not, we all saw the box score of what happened with Idaho and down to the wire at this point. But I mean, we all gotta. I think everybody on this panel thinks Oregon's going to get it going here, and is Boise State the right opponent here at this point? Because they couldn't stop a nosebleed last week too against was it Georgia Southern or State, whichever one it was.
Georgia Southern, they're the better team.
They're both irrelevant. Sorry, Mike.
Whoa, one's in the Sun Belt, one is not. Go ahead.
I don't even know where the Sun Belt is. So, anyways, point being is here. I mean, I clearly gave away too much with my Michigan pick, so I'll kind of wrap it up there. As you can probably figure out where my head's wrapped around this play. It's just it was a no brainer on Monday, and now is there a buyback option at this point?
So I'm in the exact same boat. Because early in the week, I didn't like this game. I looked at it. I'm like, it's a pretty easy pass. Oregon minus 17, no problem. As this line crept to 20 and 21, I'm like, well, hold on a second. At very least, Boise's going to have backdoor cover opportunities here. And I may or may not have opened my piggy bank for this game because I really cannot believe the disrespect that Boise's getting here. They have a puncher's chance in this game. They could win this game outright in certain scenarios. And Oregon's one of my teams to win the national championship. So, I think it's crazy that this line's moved so much.
Hey, before Deets goes, shame on us for not doing a college football champion. That was my battle to produce. We did all things NFL predictions, and here I am screwing the audience over. So
I thought we did.
Pretty sure we
did. Did we?
Yeah, me and Sammy got Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon.
Well, midnight sucks. All right, go ahead, Deets.
Well, I mean the steam back up makes sense. My understanding is the look ahead on this was 24, Oregon minus 24. I didn't see 16 or 15. My goodness, I thought it was 18 and a half was the low water point. So that's a shame on me for not jumping on that earlier. But yeah, I expect points. Boise State, I actually had a bet on Georgia Southern last weekend. They got lucky for me, they got the backdoor cover. That was just a real difficult spot for Boise State last week. That humidity down there, having to play that type of game, travel that far. That was just a really tough spot, and it leads into another really, really difficult spot for them this week. I'm opening my piggy bank for this one. I'll go more into detail on that later. Surprised to see the total tick down a little bit. I kind of expect points in this one, but to me, the look ahead being at 24 is the overreaction to dropping it down as far as you guys say, which I didn't realize. That seems way too far. So the buyback on this makes way more sense to me. It's more of coming back to where the original look ahead was. And the fact that it got to 21 and a hook is a good sign, I think, for probably what me and Aaron like compared to what Sammy likes. Should be a fun matchup. Exciting either way. And we'll get a little more details later.
Love it. You guys, that was much better. Good job, guys. And finally, in college football, we've got Colorado, who is coached by who, Aaron? I will drink whatever you need to drink.
That would be Coach Prime.
Coach Prime, love it. He takes his boys after he struggled last week at home against an FCS school, I believe, against Nebraska this week. I forget who the guy is for Nebraska, the quarterback, but Shedeur Sanders against that guy for the Cornhuskers. Nebraska's minus 7.5. Totals at 57.5. Thoughts, Aaron?
It's just another overreaction week here in this spot. I ended up laying off this game in terms of opening up the piggy bank, but I may actually make a personal off the air bet here at this point. But I think Coach Prime is not going to let last week be considered a successful week. I understand what Colorado media and Colorado Twitter said. You beat FCS North Dakota State, like whoopity-doo. Like these can't be the measures of success if you want to be the best. And I think Coach Prime is going to instill that in his team. I'm going to take the 7.5, and I actually think they're going to walk in there and get a win on a tough environment against a freshman quarterback. And I think that's where I stand with this one. I like the over in this spot as well. I see this game in the 30s for both teams, and that's where I'm at. Matt Rule, Coach Prime, a boat race, if you will, here.
Coach Prime, Sammy.
So last year, Nebraska goes into Colorado, and they're a pretty substantial favorite in that game, and Colorado just absolutely shellacked them. Right? They put up 36 on them. Nebraska got completely blown out in the game, and I remember watching that game. I was actually in New York for a family event and watching that game, just watching Shedeur Sanders run for his life in that game and watching Nebraska's secondary just break down over and over and over again. And if I'm guessing, Nebraska had this game circled on their calendar literally since last year. This is their national championship game, in my opinion. This is their biggest game of the year. And I think they're going to come out and they're going to spank Colorado pretty good here. I'm not betting on this game because I don't like the number. But if this was under a touchdown, I would be all over Nebraska in this spot. I think this is an easy revenge spot for them to go home, beat them up after last year. And I don't think Shedeur Sanders has a good game at all in this one.
Wow. Deets.
Sammy, Mike, the aforementioned QB that you were referring to is Baby Mahomes, Dylan Raiola. Put some respect on that guy's name. We touched on this, I believe, in the morning show a couple of weeks ago, and Aaron kind of brought this to my attention. We had a conversation on whether or not Nebraska could make a splash in the Big Ten this year. 2 weeks ago, I wasn't really sold. 2 weeks later, I think I might be in on this guy. Matt Rule, his second year in Nebraska, they have some talent along with the young stud QB, 5-star recruit who decided last minute to come back to Nebraska. I had the over in the Nebraska game last week. I was cashing my ticket at halftime, thought I had a little cigar bet going on. I needed 2 touchdowns. They benched Baby Mahomes after the first series and scored like 7 points in the second half, and I didn't hit my over. I literally I went to the sports book after they asked if they'd cash it. They said no, so that was disappointing. But yeah, this to me, I think this is the most exciting game on the weekend for me. I'm excited about this Nebraska team. I didn't really know much about this kid till the last month or so, a few weeks, and he is exciting. Colorado's always exciting. Hunter and Sanders on the offensive end. I'm breaking out the piggy bank. I will have a bet on this game. I can't wait to watch it. I think we're going to see fireworks, old school rivalry, old school Big 12 rivalry. Should be an exciting game, and I think I'm off work, so I'll be tuning in for this one.
I love it. You're watching Vegas Square Gambling Show. Please remember to go to also 12ouncesports.com/bet for $5.99 a month or $60 a year and get the sizzling hot plays. We'll be right back to the Gambling Show here, part of Vegas Square, on the other side of this commercial break. And Aaron, enjoy yourself, sir.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Sports is our passion. For years, we've connected fans to the game. But just like athletes and leagues, we must evolve and grow. This fall, 12 Ounce Sports is taking our game to the next level. Montana, we'll see you in October.
When you bet, head to mybookie.ag, enter the code 12OZ Sports, all caps, for not just a $1,000 first deposit bonus, but also it gives us credits here at 12 on Sports, and we appreciate you. Hashtag tremendously, which I don't have on this folder, so I apologize for the lack of screen awareness there. Yeah, mybookie.ag, code 12OZ Sports. You're watching Vegas Square Gambling Show. Don't forget, tomorrow, well, today, technically for me and Aaron, Vegas Square Morning Show at 7 a.m. Pacific. So you want to catch that Monday through Friday as well. Already, NFL week number 1. We touched on the Ravens and the Chiefs. Let's go ahead and talk about that game. Chiefs beat the Ravens 27-20 in what turned out to be a thriller. I got Chiefs -5.5, but that's for people who want to follow me on my Twitter page. Aaron, defending champs, were you impressed, or you think Ravens? Give me your thoughts on this game, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, it's an impressive victory by the Chiefs. We talked about it this morning, Tom, you and I did. I thought everything was going to be guns blazing for the Ravens here. And if they couldn't come up with this victory, it's almost as if, why play the season if you're the Ravens? I mean, you do everything you can each and every season to beat the defending champion. And I don't know, maybe the rain delay kind of gave the Chiefs time to kind of refocus on this game. But I mean, you could tell there were some distractions, the banners, all the pomp and circumstance, and the Chiefs still walked out and handled their business and covered and everything they needed to do. They did it properly. They other than the Steve Spagnuolo timeout thing, which my mind is still trying to wrap my head around it. I mean, maybe I'm one too many Yinglings deep, but I don't.
Yingling.
Yeah, dude, we can't get this on the West Coast, man.
No, we cannot. I know all about the Yingling. That's a
Yingling. This is good stuff. If you're on the West Coast, you ever find yourself in the Eastern time zone, get yourself a Yingling lager. They're absolutely delicious. My favorite beer, but I can't get it in Nevada. So,
well, here, cheers to a Chiefs victory.
Yeah, I can't.
Me and Sam, you're sober.
I had no official bet on it, but I really kind of was like, if the Ravens can't get it done right now. And Lamar, man, this is what, year number 7 of this, man. He had 2 bad throws in the end zone to end the game. Not the last one, but the first likely that got him hurt, and then the Zay Flowers, 6 yards behind him. I mean, come on, man. How many years are we gonna do this with Lamar Jackson? The MVPs just mean less and less to me with him.
Media, baby, media. Sammy.
Yeah, so I was very impressed with the Chiefs. Not so much the parts that we know, right? The Mahomes and the Steve Spagnuolo and the defense and the Chris Jones, all that stuff I already knew. It was the Xavier Worthy coming out and really, really shining in this spot on national television. It's the left tackle whose name is far beyond me to pronounce.
It's hard to pronounce.
He was spectacular in the game. And so watching those young guys really step up for this team makes them much more dangerous than maybe I gave them credit for. If those guys don't ball out, I don't think they win this game. And so to Aaron's point, Lamar Jackson, man, I try to defend this guy, and they win when he's on the field. But that guy just doesn't make big throws at big times. I mean, Mike, you pointed out, and when we were chatting about it, that's the difference between Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Is those throws are all touchdowns by Patrick Mahomes, right? In big spots, Mahomes makes the big plays, and
by most quarterbacks.
Well, no, I mean, look, I'm not going to bash him to that point, but he played a pretty good game. I mean, he had 100 yards rushing, he had 250 yards passing, he had his team in the red zone with a chance to tie. So I'm not going to hate on the guy, but yeah, I mean, when big spots come up, Lamar Jackson is just not the guy, and I wish he was because he's such an exciting player. But yeah, I'm with you, Aaron. I'm over at this point with him.
Mike, do you remember when we had I think her name was Joe Madden on
Yeah.
AM Drive, and I made a
She will
comment.
not take the slander for Lamar Jackson, right?
And I made a comment to her, and I said, if the Ravens ever win a Super Bowl, it will not be because of Lamar Jackson, but
Right.
it might be in spite of Lamar Jackson. And he proves it time and time again. And yeah,
You
she
know-
ripped me a new one for that, for the slander.
Right. So here's what I'll say. For those of you that so my day/night job, whatever you want to call it, my work away from this. I talked to a manager of mine who I found out last night was a Ravens fan, and I was like, "Oh, Lamar Jackson, you like him?" He, no. Wait, what? He's like, I'd rather have Tyler Huntley. And then
Let's not get ridiculous here.
I thought that too, but watching the game tonight, Tyler Huntley might actually make those throws count. I don't know if Tyler is going to do half the runs. He won't even do 90% of the runs. But can Tyler Huntley make those simple throws? Yes. And again, I'm not trying to harp on him like Sammy said. Like, they're not trying to say every other quarterback can do what Lamar can, but it's like, God almighty, dude. For every awesome play you have a dude, what in the world was that? Weird. It's weird to me. I don't know how to decipher how he does it, but yeah.
I think a better comparison, Tom, if is not Tyler Huntley, looking at the Josh Allen in this spot, because those two, minus the MVP, seem to be very similar quarterbacks.
Yes. Dudes.
Well, at least finally a little bit of a realistic take on Lamar Jackson compared to Josh Allen. I love I got a lot of positive things to say on the Chiefs. I have a lot of thoughts on the Ravens. Hating on Lamar Jackson isn't one of them. He's one of I love the guy. He's for whatever reason he's taken more shit in his career than anybody I know. Like they're mad at him because he didn't get an agent. He tried to get his own contract. Why? They're mad at him. Atlanta should have traded for him. I wish he would have went to Atlanta. Give him a fan base that deserves him. I understand that he doesn't have the best arm, but he's one of the best talents at the quarterback position in the NFL. You don't win 2 MVPs by accident. He's great. Like Aaron, you texted us earlier. You're like, or you put it on Twitter actually, and I disagreed with you. Is he overrated? Maybe a little overrated, but the arm talent is there. He flicks his wrist, and that ball travels 40 yards without even trying. So,
Yeah, but the receiver only ran 33 at that point.
He's got the arm talent. He's got a lot of it, and he's put his team in position. Like I would argue, John Harbaugh and Todd Monken got these great reputations, and deservedly so. But they might not have put him in the best position. I don't blame Lamar Jackson for last year's faults. I blame the coaching staff. Zay Flowers fumbling on the 1-yard line. A whole bunch of problems. That was just a game out of the twilight zone. Lamar Jackson deserved his flowers last year. No pun intended, Zay Flowers. But he is very, very talented. 25 NFL teams would love to take him on their team. The hate he gets, I just do not understand it. Is he Mahomes? No, of course. Is he even Josh Allen? Probably not. But he's not. He's an above average starting NFL quarterback.
Sure.
And he can lead a team to a Super Bowl. And I hope that he does someday, despite my bitterness towards losing last year. I really, the Ravens team, they're good. And I guess to go back to tonight's game, like I'm some kind of a fish when it comes to NFL coaching, because the Ravens, that first drive, despite 5 penalties by Ronnie Staley for being lining up outside, with apparently there's a new rule this year where your belt buckle has to line up with your head left tackle. They touched on it. I don't know what that means, but they sure made the Ravens an example of it tonight, because that first drive they called, I think, 4 penalties on Ronnie Staley, and they still marched right down the field and scored. But as soon as they got out of their scripted plays, they couldn't really move the ball. I don't understand what the importance is or why scripted plays work so much better for NFL coaches than like the rest of the game plan. But they do.
Just script the game.
That's I just don't get it. So once we got out of that, they kind of faltered a little bit. And to go back to the Chiefs, my goodness, this offense is going to be incredible. Rashid Rice, those slant outs, those slant patterns,
Yes.
like they just find a way to open up the space for him. They got Xavier Worthy, the fastest guy in the one of the fastest guys in the NFL. They found a way to utilize him. If there's any coach and they get Hollywood Brown back. Hollywood Brown, another one of the fastest guys. If there's any coach in the NFL that I'm worried about with those type of weapons, it's Andy Reid. And, they made Travis Kelce an afterthought tonight with the way that they opened up the field. Pacheco did a great job.
Pacheco was a madman.
Yeah, the Chiefs are this offense. Although he didn't produce much tonight, I'm happy I got Mahomes in one of my fantasy leagues because I think this offense is going to be explosive. I think that they're going to be able to move the ball at will. I don't even think we've begun to see the cool little gadget plays they're going to draw up with 3 wide receivers
behind the back,
speed and ability that of Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and Rashid Rice do. They don't have to be the best, most talented wide receivers for Andy Reid to find ways to make them useful. So that was my takeaway from the game. This Chiefs offense could be very, very exciting and explosive this year.
But
put them in the Final Four, man. They're in the Final Four.
For any football fan who watched this game, they were throwing their remotes to their television, watching Lamar Jackson miss these throws, man. I mean,
agreed.
I have no really interest in this game one way or the other. And me and Mike were sitting there with our mouths on the floor, like, how did you miss this guy, right? Like, if you're going to be a winning MVP Super Bowl level quarterback, you have to make the best throws in the biggest spots. I love Lamar Jackson's talent, but come on, man.
It has to be Mahomes that'll make that Xavier Powers throw 10 yards like in front of him instead of 10 yards behind him.
This is why Lamar is going to get bashed, because it's cool to take your team to the playoffs. It's cool to get the number 1 seed. It's cool to win MVPs, but they are not going to win with this guy. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with this guy. They're not.
I'll put it this way, Dietz. It's why the Brady argument is so frustrating, because for every time we say, well, he's not talented, throws like that Brady makes and guys like Lamar don't. That's frustrating to me.
Yeah, that's a fair point. He doesn't. I wouldn't say Lamar Jackson makes winning plays at this point in his career. He's still young enough; like he can still get there. But yeah, I wasn't worried. I think I already said I found myself once the line dropped to 2.5. I found myself with a Chiefs ticket tonight, and when it was 27-20, I really wasn't worried with Lamar coming back and making a play. Where on the other side, if it was Mahomes, I would have countered. I would have been waiting to see what happened in overtime. So you're right. You guys bring up good points, but I just think that the slander and it's gone too far. Talking about where's the buyback? I want to buy back a little bit on Lamar Jackson. We talk about Texas going too far. Buy him back a little bit here on Lamar. He's not a 7.5 point dog. He deserves to.
It's the new age of social media, man. It's just like the Jordan LeBron debate. The one guy's great, the other guy sucks.
Well, it's funny too, because if Isaiah Likely gets his foot down, we're not even having this conversation, right? Because
might still be watching the game.
Baby, Isaiah Likely, the new Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
they were going to go for 2, so we were.
Oh, that would have pissed me off.
Oh, that's right. You're right. They would have gone.
I love that. I was like, Harbaugh was like, let's do it. I was like, crap.
As a football fan, I would have been happy to see it, but as a bettor, I'm like, oh, you just screwed me.
But none of this Lamar hate happens if that catch is made and they're going for 2, win or lose, right? So, like, it's so funny how one play can change the whole narrative of a game, because we're not having this conversation.
Well, because you look at the play before and he's 6 yards behind Zay Flowers.
I get it, but if he makes that catch and they're going for 2, we're no longer talking about that missed throw, right? We're talking about his amazing throw that made him.
If he gets a matter of a couple inches, he gets his foot down. Lamar Jackson is now he's inches,
that's what she said. That's all he needs,
I was going to leave that alone, but
it's a late night show.
Yeah,
we're like Stephen Colbert out here. All right,
that's Skinamax. It's 12-ounce sports.
Okay, Brazil, like Brazilian women. I'm just asking. Packers, Eagles.
Yes.
Okay. Philadelphia's favored by 2.5 in the crime war-torn Brazil. At the totals at 49 according to my bookie. I bring up the war-torn stuff because me and the What Just Happened crew had a great debate on whether or not the NFL putting this game in Brazil was a great move. I agree with Adam Schefter. Huh?
Terrible move, but we'll get to that.
Okay, well, before we get into that, I don't want to open up the can of worms right here. I just want to say Adam Schefter did say the NFL puts a lot of planning into this, and the guys are not going there for vacation. They're going there to play football. So Darius Slay, You don't have to bring your family to win a football game. Aaron, thoughts on this game tomorrow night? Well, tonight / Packers Eagles. Thoughts on the game?
It's a tough one because I really feel like at the end of this game, the sky will be falling for one team because everything is sunshine and rainbows. Just ask the mush down there in Cheeseland. And if they don't come out and win this game, and like you said, you can't put a lot of stock in these international games. It's just not fair to these teams, first and foremost. But the sky would be falling in Green Bay. And if the Eagles lose this game, the sky will continue to fall as it has since week 10 of last season. Sirianni will be, getting the old curtain call here at this point. New coordinators aren't working. I mean, come on, let's be honest. What Philly fan is, they are ready to chop his head off in the middle of Independence Square there. So I don't know. I really don't know what to make of this. I know you have the over in this game. I tend to not love overs in primetime games, even though this one just snuck over, depending on what line you got in this Chiefs-Ravens game.
Yeah.
I don't know a side on this one. My head says Philadelphia, but there's no home field advantage. There's no fan. I mean, there's nothing to really – it's not a game I would even be interested in handicapping. Let's put it that way.
I just found out it's now 49.5. Go ahead, Sammy.
So I did handicap this game, and I spent quite a lot of time on this game because for the last 10 weeks of last year and the playoffs, Green Bay was the better squad here. And if you would have asked me what the line of this game was before I looked at the line, I would have said probably Packers by 3 on a neutral field. So I was completely blown away by the fact that the Eagles were even favored in this game. I really don't even understand it. I don't like the number enough to bet it, but I'm very much on the side of the Packers should be favored in this game on a neutral field. In Philadelphia, I understand this line, and maybe a lot of sports bettors are going to make that mistake not realizing it's in Brazil. But on neutral field, the Packers have been better, and they are better. It makes no sense to me. Well,
by that logic, you should be opening up the piggy bank for sure.
No, because the number +2 +2.5 doesn't really do anything for it. I'm either taking them on the money line or I'm not taking it all. And it's not a game where I really want to take a money line spot, right? I would love to take Packers +3 in this spot, but that's not my option. So, but with that being said, the line is just skewed at least 3 or 4 points from where I thought it would be.
I like
Did
that.
it just move from 2 to 2.5? Did we just get a little late?
2.5 to 2.
Yeah, it moved back to 2.
Yep.
And moved up a half a point in the total. Yeah, I don't know. I and this isn't necessarily this isn't necessarily anything profound I just believe handicapping international games is silly. I'm not saying you can't do it for the purposes of looking at the game, but traveling, the media obligations, the dangers of being in Brazil, which allegedly Darius Slay says it's pretty brutal there, and Josh Jacobs has said the same thing. Just what's there to gain by really trying to pick a side on this one?
Well, okay, I think Josh Jacobs said something like a couple weeks ago, somewhat in jest. I'm not trying to say it's not dangerous there, but I mean, let's dial it back a little bit on that.
Thank you.
Ricky Pershaw, whatever his name, guy just got shot in the chest by somebody trying to steal his Rolex. Players play in Chicago, they play in New York, they play in Philly. Nothing against those cities, but let's not act like we're some pristine country that doesn't have any of our own issues. Like there's
a school shooting in Georgia. There you go.
Brazil, I mean, as far as Aaron, you said the sky falling. I don't think the sky will be falling for either team. Win or lose this game, it is a weird circumstance. It's a 10-hour flight. They both left on Wednesday. I will say this. Apparently, someone made a joke. Apparently, green is a gang color there, and they scheduled 2 teams that wear green, and they don't want them to wear their team colors outside of the hotel. So I'm sure there is something to be said about there being a little bit of danger there. But these type of countries, they look out for what brings their countries money, and this is meant to bring their country money. And I would expect everybody to be safe and not have any issues, especially in the areas that there will be. So as far as getting to the actual on the game stuff, I don't think the sky will be falling win or lose for either of these teams. I will say Green Bay got lucky that it is aligned to Philly home game. So that is a bad beat for Philly in a sense that this is one of their designated home games. So if they do lose this game, they this is a coin flip game. If they lose it, they lose a home game on top of it. And if Green Bay wins it, for two teams that I think will be battling for the number 1 seed in the NFC, this could be a big game for it. So for it to be such a coin flip is kind of disappointing, especially this early in the season. This could have some very some big ramifications down the road. So as far as a betting angle, I can't. If we're going to find, like, this is an international game, first time to Brazil. We don't really know what to expect. We don't know much about the city and the field conditions. So to try to make a bet on it right now, I don't know how we could handicap that on any level. So if I were to lean something, I would just want to go with the plus money. I think it's a complete coin flip. The teams are very evenly matched. Philly improved their secondary this year with those draft picks. They got a great defensive line. They got obviously a fantastic receiving core, some question marks along the offensive line now with Kelsey retiring, but they brought in Saquon. I've talked ad nauseum about Green Bay, so I won't go there, but they're very evenly matched. If I was going to put a little bit of money on it, I would just take the plus money with whoever the underdog was. If it was Philly or Green Bay, wherever I can get my plus money down, I would take that. I do think that once we start to establish some information and some points of emphasis for Brazil, if it's a yearly thing, there can be handicapping information available. We do have there's ways to handicap London games now, especially with Jacksonville going there every year. You can, anywhere from how often the team flies or when they fly in and when they fly out, into London, these international games. There's a lot of information that's available, not unlike preseason games. So if you just know how to look for the information, you can find ways to handicap these international games. I just don't think for this one being the first one, there's nothing we can draw on. There's nothing we can really. It's just a guessing game. I mean, this field might be a mess. The air quality. We know the air. They almost weren't going to play this game because of the wildfires down there. Excuse me. So the air quality is going to be bad. Exciting to watch. I can't wait, but it's nice. There's nothing to.
That's bad.
There's no way to.
Okay. Aaron, make a quick point because we do have to move on.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, the London, you're right. After years and years of data, there may be something, obviously, but I mean, there's nothing that leads me to believe that this game is just going to be fireworks in the offensive perspective here. But I mean, Sammy, if you're handicapping this game, take out all of the off-field stigmas. Who's the better team on paper?
The better team on paper is the Packers. No, it's the Packers.
Yes.
I disagree.
So
why?
The Packers were better all down the stretch last year. They're better in the playoffs.
I just said take all that out on paper. If you're looking at a paper, I disagree.
They've grown more. They have a better defense than the Eagles, I think, right now. They're better offensive line than the Eagles right now.
Jordan Love is better than Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley has never been good. So
these are.
I love Saquon Barkley and all, but the Packers have a better offense overall. I mean, this is just an easy roster.
They're very close. They're very close.
I disagree. Okay,
the receiving cores are great. Good running backs.
No, first of all, Eagles have a way better receiving core. Don't even go there. I wanted to give you that one. I'll give the Packers.
They do, but the Packers have a better quarterback to get the ball to them. So I mean, it washes.
Okay, we have to move on here. Last thing I will say, Aaron, I have a question for you because I know, like Darius Slay said, they're not allowed to leave the hotel. Is this like the bubble in the NBA where if you leave, you get fined? I was wondering.
I mean, if you leave, you might get fired at.
There you go. Good point. All right. Texans Colts should be a quick one here. I got Colts money line. Shane Steichen and a healthy Anthony Richardson, hopefully. C.A. Stroud and everybody's favorite team in Texas now. And the total's at 49. Thoughts on the game, guys?
This is a tough one. I mean, there hasn't been positive reports out of camp for Anthony Richardson, but I somehow still feel high on him. There's a lot of reports that he can't even hit open receivers at this point.
Okay.
Bring Lamar Jackson in.
I was just about to say, is he the new Lamar? Is he the younger Lamar at this point? I like the Colts. I think they have good fundamentals. They have a good offense. I don't know what I'm coming back to with Anthony Richardson at this point. Week 1 is not a spot where I want to back him, but I do have a sense of optimism for the Colts this year. right now it's just not in week one. The Texans are riding high. The only thing I think that can really bring the Texans down is Stephon Diggs, and I'm going to give him a week. I'm going to give him a week to say he stays in line.
Sammy.
So Aaron kind of read my thoughts on this too, right? I watched some of Anthony Richardson's tape from last year, and he wasn't that great in his pro debuts. He was good, but he wasn't great. And then he gets hurt. Now he has to come back from injury, and we're just sort of guessing on how much he's improved off of a very short stint of a rookie season. Obviously, C.J. Stroud's tape is much better, and he had a fantastic rookie season, a generational rookie season. I think talent-wise, these rosters aren't too far apart, but I'm not putting any money on Anthony Richardson until I see something. And so therefore, it's just no bet for me.
I disagree with you on that.
I'm in the piggy bank. I got action on this one. I'll stop. I can't wait to watch it. I mean, Texans are going to be fun to watch. Stephon Diggs, I think he'll be fine all year. Like something weird was happening in Buffalo there. I don't know. He's already said he can't really speak on it. But where there's smoke, there's fire. He got shunned out of Minnesota, then shunned out of Buffalo. So there's a cool little video of everybody. They do the TikTok videos of what teammate would you least like to date your sister. All these NFL teams do.
When
Buffalo did it, everybody picked Diggs. So there's something going on with him. He's a weird guy for sure, but I think he's not. I mean, he's not Antonio Brown crazy. Like he understands. He understands that he had a great situation in Buffalo. He was a top 5 targeted guy and one of the best offenses in the NFL for a title contending team. If that doesn't make you happy, what will? So he's referenced the fact that it was a little bit of some off-field stuff that he can't really talk about. So I do expect him to stay the course. It's a 3-headed monster with those receivers, Nico Collins, himself, and
Tank Dell.
So, and C.J. Stroud, he's a young quarterback. Like you can't talk to him like you can Josh Allen and Kirk Cousins like you had in Minnesota. Those guys are veterans, been around the block. You can't show up this guy on the sidelines. You got to just a little bit of a different scenario. You got to let him grow a little bit. And I think he is at least has enough common sense to realize that. So, and he's still – I believe he doesn't have a long-term contract, so I think he's still playing for some money. So I think he'll buy in. They're a sexy pick to make a deep run this year. And I don't know if he'll be a number 1 receiver anymore. Nico Collins probably that for Houston, but I don't think he'll deter him all that much to derail their whole season. I don't expect that by any means. But it should be a fun game. I do have a bet on it.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to Jaguars-Dolphins. This still Florida low-key has a good matchup here for a football game. On these couple of years ago, these teams might have stunk. Now they have Tua, who led the league in passing yards, and Trevor Lawrence, who is good when he was healthy last year, but whatever that means. It's Doug Peterson, it's Mike McDaniel. This is a big matchup here. Dolphins minus 3.5. Totals at 49, as of 5 minutes ago whenever I checked it. Boys.
This is an unlucky spot for the Dolphins, in my opinion. They utilize the month of September and early October to trap teams from the north into these humid temperatures that make it so unbearable to play. And who do they get week 1? They get another team from Florida. I don't think there's a home field advantage in this spot for them. They're also laying a hook that I don't love. I might be high on Trevor Lawrence. I think this feels like a shootout to me. But I'm gonna lean toward those Jags catching 3.5.
Ooh, Sammy.
So originally, this was one of my picks of the week. I really love the over in this game. I was with Aaron. It's going to be a shootout. And then the more I did research on these really hot games, it seems like not just the defense is deteriorating in the second half, but the offenses do too. They kind of go into a shell. They start to run the ball more, play far more conservative, and really run the clock to get off the field. And so it sort of shied me away from the total. Then I was on Dolphins when it was 3, and I got a bad line and moved to 3.5, and so I just passed on this one. But I really do think that, like Aaron said, this is a bad matchup for the Dolphins, who really would have been a big favorite in a good spot against, literally any other team except for another Florida team in this spot. So, yeah, I wanted to bet over so bad, but it's going to be hot and muggy. It's going to be gross there. Just no way to know how these teams are going to react.
No, I was with you. We talked about it, I think, last week about us both liking this over. No, maybe it was at work, actually. I'm off the over too. The weather it's supposed to be raining. They got some real storm issues there. So as of right now, you can't trust Trevor Lawrence in the rain. Like he just can't handle the rain.
Wow.
So I think that I lean on the Miami side. I think that they are Mike McDaniel. He's going to have some new plays set up. He's really buying into the Miami vibe down there. If you see any of his press conferences, so as long as he's still got his head on straight, I expect him to dial up some new trick plays. Jalen Waddle. They got a little bit of injuries with Hill and Waddle coming in a little banged up, but I'm excited to see Deshaun Achane.
Devin Achane.
I expect him to be pretty amazing this year, and I lean Miami, but we'll see. Like I don't have any action on this game.
Finally, all right. Titans Bears. The mayonnaise suck tour begins as Will Levis is a 3.5 underdog against the Bears, and Caleb Williams, who's the next son of God, totals at 44.5. Aaron. God, I hope you guys don't go long on this, but you might. Go ahead.
Well, call me a groupie on the Will Levis mayonnaise suck tour.
Moron.
I said call me a groupie, not a moron, you jerk. No, I think this is the upset of the week. Everybody is just knob slobbing all over, Mr. Heisman himself, Caleb Williams at this point. I don't know. Just for some reason, I don't like anything about these Bears. The talent, yes, on the paper. Keenan Allen's overweight. I don't know if he even lost the weight. I haven't checked back on that status. DeAndre Swift's he's I don't know. To me, he's just a guy in the running back department. And you've got a rookie here. I'm going to play the trend. Tom and I talked about this morning. 14-1. Straight up our number one picks in the last 20-something years. I think that trend continues. I think Will Levis gets them, and I'm going to take the Titans in this spot.
Sammy, we're going to Will Levis suck tour or what?
I'm not on that bandwagon, but I'm not on any of these bandwagons. This is actually one of the shortest analysis games I can give you. This game comes down to trust, and I literally trust no side of the ball for either team. I don't trust Caleb Williams in this offense. I don't trust Will Levis in that offense. I don't trust their running game. I don't trust their offensive line. I don't trust either team's defense. I don't like either team's coach. For me, this is just a game where I'm going to watch and I'm going to try to get some information on these teams. But until I do, there's just no trust in putting money on either of these squads.
I'm surprised you're going to watch and get research, because that means you're a man of the show. Deets.
I do have a bet. I'll give it away in the best bets week. I got a lot of bets. I got a lot of things to say in the next segment, so I'll cut this one short.
You don't say.
Okay. The Mush continues his run. Cowboys Browns. It's now down to Cleveland 2.5. It totals at 41. It's Deshaun Watson, aka Groper Cleveland. Listen, I'm
That's a good one. That's great.
Yeah, Barry McConkey is amazing. Yeah, okay, that was my fault.
Never heard that. That's fantastic.
Okay. Sunday. It's a Sunday afternoon game, late afternoon for us here on the East Coast. Sammy, we're going to get Aaron first, but Aaron, I've noticed that Nick Wright made a great point. The Cowboys didn't really lose a lot with Tony Pollard. I don't care what anybody says. He's wasn't very good last year. I think Deuce Vaughn could be good. I still believe that they kept him. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, this is a game which is crazy because they are two of the higher profile media teams. I surprisingly have no interest in watching this game. I am generally a person who avoids betting on teams with quote unquote tumultuous off seasons. And while it may not be that big of a deal, the CeeDee Lamb situation creates, an off season of quote unquote chaos. I would lean, this thing is ping pong between Cleveland 2.5 and 3. It's ping pong this entire summer. It doesn't seem to want to figure out a way to go. And I think this is the perfect spot. I mean, you got a home team, call the dog pound 2 points advantage in my opinion. And I like Cleveland. I would lay the 2.5 in this spot, but no interest in watching this game.
Sham God Sammy optimism.
I do have interest in this game. I'm actually curious to see if Cleveland's defense regresses a little bit this year. Number one squad last year. They kept them in every game all year long. But I don't think they're that good this year. I think they are going to come back towards the middle of the pack. And with that being said, I think the Cowboys are slightly underrated. I think that they are still a top 7 roster in the NFL. And, I think their roster is probably top to bottom still slightly better than Cleveland. And with all that being said, I wouldn't take it at this number, but I did put this in some of my betting markets for the weekend, which I'll go over in the next segment. So, I am in on this game. I don't think it's going to be an exciting game to watch. I think it's going to be pretty low scoring. But with that said, I think Cleveland is just a little bit overrated and Dallas is a little bit underrated going into this.
Tommy.
Agree with that. The total is interesting. I think if you like Cleveland, you got to like the under. If you like Dallas, you got to like the over. I think Cowboys they were a great regular season team last year. They are getting a little bit too much after last year's playoff debacle. I don't have any betting interest in this game because I don't know what to expect from either team. Can't trust Deshaun. Cowboys kind of expect them to bounce back, get that taste out of their mouth. But I can't bet this game. If it was Dallas at home, honestly, if it was Dallas minus 5.5 at home, I might like it. But having to go into Cleveland at minus 2.5, I can't bet it. So no, I'm excited for the betting segment. Let's get to it.
Hold your horses, pal. You've been talking the whole time. All right, Aaron, I'm going to do it. Sunday Night Football on NBC. Rams-Lions. In the theme song night it's been like 10 years since they've changed that crappy song. Matthew Stafford makes another return to Detroit. Lions are another sexy pick everyone just happens to love. So does Dietz, actually, which, again, baffled me. Aaron, any thoughts on this game?
It was my attempt to look at you, Sammy, through the magic of the windows.
Darn you.
You know what? This might be the 1 week I will be in love with the Lions. It's at home, coming off, the best season in 3 decades, maybe, for this team. I could be even more. I have no idea. There's not a lot of Lions history to really research. You got Matt Stafford coming back. You've got Sunday Night Football. You got the place rocking. This thing's already gotten ticked up. I mean, the line I'm looking at is 3.5 right now. My book's got 4.5. If there's ever 1 week I am in love with the Lions, it's right here. Lions by 7 to 10, and the optimism, the eternal optimism that is the Detroit Lions for week 1. This is it. This is the game. This is effectively the Super Bowl they didn't make last year.
Let's give the optometrist. I'm kidding. That's not a word that correlates. All right, Sammy, go ahead.
You're doing great, Mike.
So, I obviously like the Lions to win this game. I will not lay 4.5 in that spot because the Rams still have a puncher's chance. And as the totals get higher, it's harder to cover those backdoor covers, right? It's harder to not have backdoor cover be in play. So for me, if I was going to make a bet on this, it would be actually on the under in this game, which is where Detroit can actually control the game a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball, and then they can blow them out. But if I'm not betting a total, I'm not betting a side in this game. 52 is just an astronomically high number for this spot, and because of that, I think the Rams have backdoor cover ability more so than I think the Lions have blowout ability. So for me, it's a pass. But I do hope the Lions have a good showing in this game. I am going to be rooting for them.
Mush, do you have anything to say or just move on?
Can't wait to watch it. Got a bet on it. I'll talk about it in a minute.
Dun, 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 dun. Aaron Rodgers makes his – that's a new one. Aaron Rodgers makes his return to the field 5 plays later. Things are going great, hopefully, the saying. I'm not going to knock on wood because I have a plastic desk. 49ers and Brock Purdy and Aaron, you talked about this on the morning show a little bit that you might fade the Niners here in week 1 because of the tumultuous offseason. They're 4.5-point favorites at home, 43.5. What you got?
I don't love this number for the 49ers. You're getting Trent Williams finally back into camp. Or there is no camp left, but you're getting Trent Williams finally back in. You have a whole situation now that Brandon Ayuk had to make the deal difficult for the 49ers. What was so difficult about it? They laid out a deal, 4 years, $120 million at the beginning of the summer. Oh, and guess what? The deal you signed was 4 years and $120 million. I think John Lynch just put that in his email and said, you let me know at this point. He didn't make anything difficult for John Lynch. But that being said, we had to talk about these guys in the offseason. I don't like it. don't like tumultuous off seasons.
Love it.
Doesn't mean I don't like the 49ers for this year. I think I'm higher on them than these two guys. But yeah, I think it's kind of ironic because I have opened up the piggy bank for this one, and my entire season-long thoughts literally will contradict everything that I'm about to do in the next segment.
Ooh, yummy, Sammy.
I do like a good contradiction.
What do you think about Brock
But you
Pierce
do
in
like
the
the
Debo Samuel jersey?
So for me, this is I did open the piggy bank for this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But this has got to be the worst opening night draw for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, a team that just has his number throughout his career, as well as coming off of a year of basically inactivity, a non-cohesive offense going up against a stud defense. For me, this is actually a really bad spot for the Jets. And I'll go into more detail in the next segment. But yeah, I'm Niners all day on this.
No, please go on. I'm kidding. Everybody's favorite Bush, Deets.
I did find a betting angle. I'm very down on the Niners after their weird preseason. I have a betting angle on it. I'll go into it when we get into the bets.
I am so proud of Deets for the last two games. All right, we got to take a break. We got to pay some bills. We'll be right back. Let's do a Dust Pods commercial, which I helped produce, and I'm low-key flexing right now. So it's not going to be 2 minutes, but we can do 2 minutes later if you guys want. Here we go.
America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water. Dust Pods is the future. And polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUSTPODS or visit dustpods.com today. Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Sports is our passion. For years, we've connected fans to the game. But just like athletes and leagues, we must evolve and grow. This fall, 12 Ounce Sports is taking our game to the next level. Montana, we'll see you in October.
Sammy, Deets, you were hysterical with your post commercial laughing there. All right, anyways, MyBookie.ag, promo code 12OZ Sports, all caps, no spaces, for up to a $1,000 first deposit bonus. And of course, it helps out our show and network hashtag tremendously. Remember to catch Vegas Square morning show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific time. And reminder to the people of how this is going to work. Because I know Deets has a bunch of these. We're going to start off with our piggy bank bets. Aaron's going to give his, and Sammy then Deets. Then we're going to get to some buyer bet in Prop City. And then we'll discuss the bets if we have time afterwards, if we want to have some banter back and forth. So let's first get to the piggy bank. And I just want to show the amazing glass green pork. We're going to be, as Sammy says, hashtag Megan Bacon. That was incredible by him. Okay. The accepted bets for piggy bank are each contestant / guest makes 3+ bets. There's game money line, game spread, or game total. Let's get to Aaron. Crack it open, the boy.
All right. Counteracting myself here. I've been drinking beer all day, which should make my inhibitions a little looser. However, Tom spoke some sense into me last week and said, it's a long season. You should really, not be betting $50. So these bets will be of the $11 and $10 variety. Thank you, Tom. You jerk. All right.
We'll get there. We'll get to the $50 bet.
Yeah, on week 18 when I'm having to fire off the account. Nerfy in the 7th inning. All right, so let's do this. I've got 2 college, 3 pro, and a teaser that I'm not even sure I like anymore. But I wrote it down, so let's do it. All right, we're going to start off with that University of Michigan. The Victors at home plus 7.5, $11 to win $10. The next one, I liked it, and I didn't like it. Then I liked it, and I didn't like it all week long. Now I like it, and now I'm locking it in. I'm going Kansas State -9 against Tulane. I know it's on the road, but I really like this Kansas State team as a dark horse Big 12 winner. $11 to win 10 on that one as well. All right, moving to the guys who get paid. Oh, wait, that doesn't work anymore. Moving to the professional game. The Giants. We're going to the Giants money line plus 105. Home dog against the Vikings. $10 gets me $20.50 if my math is correct. Going to the hometown team here. The Bucks -3 against the Commanders. I don't know what to expect with this Washington team. I'm fading the entire new regime. New coach, new owner, new quarterback, new everything. Fading that regime in week 1. And then, of course, the Chase bet on Monday Night Football. I'm going with your boy Aaron Rodgers. It's Mike's GOAT, and it's Tom's boyfriend. Jets plus 4.5.
That's the
$11. That's the Yingling dog, and yeah, $11 to win 10. And this 2-team teaser that is weird. I had a 2-team 6-point teaser that got me a nice number here at -120. However, Oregon is in this, and their number just keeps steamrolling against me here. But I don't know how we're going to do this because what was the number that we have right now in its current form in the Oregon game?
21.5.
Fuck.
PG-13. Welcome to the show.
It was 20 when I made this bet, so I may have to switch this to a 7-point teaser, which also doesn't make me feel good at 14.5. But I wrote it down. Let's stick with it. 2 teams, 6 points. Oregon, math it for me. What's that? 15.5. It was 14. Oregon minus 15.5, I guess now, and Central Michigan.
You can do 14. If you locked it in at 14, you're good.
Okay, is that okay with the panel here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the producer. Go ahead. What do you guys?
I mean, we had to take a bad line last week when the line changed to Texas A&M. Not that it mattered, but
I say it's good for this show. We can talk about it going forward.
That's fair.
All right. Well, then my 2-team 6-point Oregon minus 14 against Boise, and then Central Michigan to basically win the game against FIU. That is a $12 bet to win 10 whole American dollars. Good luck to us.
Yes. All right, Sammy, you start with 978. Give me your piggy bank.
So for me, I'm in the same boat as I'm not going to be unloading the piggy bank on each bet, but for me, one unit's going to be $20 victories. All my bets are going to be 22 or 24 to win 20. I also went with one college, 3 pro, and a teaser. My college game, we talked about this earlier, is since I'm getting a good number, is Boise State plus 21.5. Once it hit the 21 mark, I really couldn't resist anymore. I think this is just too much value. Winning a college game against a decent team by more than 3 scores is just not the average thing. And Boise State has a puncher's chance in this game. They can win this game outright. I truly do believe they have a chance to win this game outright if they get a bad Oregon run out. So for me, 21.5, it's a steal. I think it's a great number. I'm happy to have it. If it wasn't 21.5, if it was still at 18 or wherever it opened, I probably wouldn't be on this game. But I'm going to take the extra points. For my pro bet, my first pick is the Broncos plus 6. Not a game we've spoken about, but I got to be honest with you. I'm excited about this Bronco team, right? I really do think defensively they match up really well with Seattle, right? I mean, Seattle has good tools. They obviously have the home field advantage in this game, but I'm getting almost a touchdown in this game. I like taking plus 6 as a number typically anyway. It feels almost like the betting markets want you to take the favorite. If they win by a touchdown and an extra point, I win, right? So for me, plus 6 is one of my favorite dog lines. I really was shocked this line was only 6. And when I saw that, I did a little bit more research. I think this match up really well for the Broncos. So plus 6 for the Broncos, 22 to win 20. A game we've already spoken about, the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. Again, the worst draw possible for Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, the Niners have killed him throughout his career anyway. And now he has to go on the road after missing a full season. I mean, this offense has no actual connection yet. I mean, who knows how good they're going to play? But it's a low-scoring game. It's one of those games where I think defense really does matter. And I think the Niners have a slightly better defense. The Jets have a stacked roster. And by the end of this season, I do think the Jets will compete in the AFC. But week 1, coming off a year layoff, I just give me the home team, give me the slightly better squad, and give me the home emotion here against a team that has Aaron Rodgers number. Teaser wise, and you'll hear me talk about long teasers pretty much all season ad nauseum. I found 2 that were pretty easy in my book. Originally, I had the Dolphins total in this and then moved off it for reasons already spoken of. So now my teaser is Dallas plus the 8.5 in what should be a very defensive game in general. I'm going to take the touchdown plus, moving that line from 2.5 to 8.5, moving across 2 key numbers. And then on the reverse side, the Bengals, right, going from 7.5 down to 1.5 or 8.5 down to 2.5, depending on which line we get. Moving that line down through 2 key numbers. All they have to do now is basically win by a field goal. This type of bet I'll probably make every single week. I will find some combination that makes this bet happen. This has always been very profitable for me throughout the years. And my last bet, sorry, Mike, if I mixed up the order. I'm with Aaron on this one. I got the New York Giants plus 105. Money line dog here. This is the only game of the season where the Giants are going to have the advantage at quarterback. I take that very lightly.
Wow.
But, I think Daniel Jones has to win this game, right? Because if you know anything about Giants football, he has to be good enough for them not to cut him, but bad enough for them still not to make the playoffs. And this is the perfect game to kind of accomplish that goal, right? Give them a little bit of hope, get them off to a good start. Maybe show some why like this can still be our guy. All of the things the Giants are kind of known for throughout the years. So this is a home opener, home dog against a very bad, in my opinion, Vikings quarterback. But with ironically enough, and I don't know that we're going to get to player props anytime soon. I do have a player prop on the Vikings, which is pretty funny to laugh at. So those picks were made separate times, but that's my bets for this week.
All right, Dietz, I hate to do this to you. We're at 118 right now, which means we have 12 minutes to go. I know you have a bunch of bets. So just can you run through give me your storylines? Just a few.
I'll fire through them. I got 12 bets. I love most. I'll start with my favorite bet of the weekend. It's my only $22 bet besides our teaser. South Alabama, Ohio, over 56. South Alabama, North Texas. last week had 90 points, 1,100 total yards. Ohio has 60 points, 900 total yards. First game with Major Applewhite. Gio Lopez has a school record for South Alabama. Tempo, they run 84 plays. South Alabama did last week. Ohio 73. Love the over 56, my favorite bet of the week. Sam Houston State, me and Aaron are both on Central Florida this year, but I love Sam Houston State against Central Florida this week. Got bet down from plus 24. What do we have? Skylar, the DC for Sam Houston State, Skylar Cassidy coached at Auburn with Gus Malzahn, knows him a little bit. Malzahn probably might not want to run the score up on him. Malzahn 3-6 against the spread as a double-digit home favorite, and they also have a look-ahead spot to TCU, like the points with Sam Houston State. Northern Illinois against Notre Dame, plus 28. Give me Northern Illinois. This is just a basic sandwich spot for Notre Dame. Huge game last week, huge win. They got a rivalry game next week against Purdue. Riley Leonard gets beat up a lot. I could see him getting benched in the second half to rest him. Vanilla game plan for Notre Dame. Give me the 28 points with a Northern Illinois team that I'm high on coming into the year. Oregon, on the other side of Sammy. This game, the fact that went to 21.5, like when you're talking about this earlier in the week, the 18.5, I loved it. It got through to 21.5. That makes me think that this is like the books. That's a good sign for Oregon. Boise State, they got to travel through 3 time zones in 6 days. They played that tough game against Georgia Southern last week in that humidity. Their defense got run rampant. They go back to Boise to practice, and then they go to another time zone to play the game in Oregon. I think Oregon is going to their box score last week didn't really translate to how many points they put on the scoreboard. I think Oregon rolls in this one. Last college game, one of my favorite bets also. I love the college. We touched on it earlier. Colorado, Nebraska over 57. Just stars all over the field. Dylan Raiola, baby Mahomes. If he doesn't get benched in the first series and second half last week, that game screams over. Sanders last week, 445. 4 touchdowns. Travis Hunter, these guys are great. North Dakota State put up 449 yards, ran almost 70 plays against that Colorado defense. I can't believe this total's in the 50s. Love the over in that one. That was my last college bet. All those for 11, except for my favorite bet of the week, which is South Alabama over. Just a couple NFL stats to go over to kind of lean where I'm thinking on this. Underdogs in week 1, 90, 67, and 3 against the spread in 10 years. Road underdogs that missed the playoffs last year in week 1, 92, 59, and 5. A couple of my bets translate to that. And divisional home week 1, 22 and 7 against the spread, 9 and 2 since 2018, 17 and 4 against the spread since 2012. My bets are going to translate into that. My first bet, Carolina +4. These are all for 11 versus the Saints. I love Dave Canellis, hate Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen is 8 and 16 as a favorite. Derek Carr, 30% against the spread as a favorite of over a field goal at home. Give me the upstart Carolina Panthers with the better coach. Titans +3.5. That line's just been coming down. Brian Callahan brought in his dad, Bill Callahan, to coach the offensive line. We touched on this stat ad nauseum, 14-1 straight up. So I'll take the free 3.5 points. I like the Titans in this spot. I'm with Sammy and Aaron here. I like the Giants. Brian Dable coaching for his job, +1.5. We're all low on the Vikings this year. Colts, a bet for you, Mike. Division that spread. Division underdogs in week 1, 22 and 7. The everybody loves Houston's everybody's darling. I like Houston too. Question marks with Anthony Richardson, but I love Shane Steichen. He's just a fantastic coach, and he's a divisional underdog in week 1, catching 3 points. I'm just going to take that trend. We don't have a lot to go on at this point. It's week 1. I'm going to lean towards some of the trends that have been proven to be 60 to 70% winners through 20 plus years. If I got a great head coach, off-season darling in Houston, give me the +3, home dog, Colts. Moving on, the Lions, more trends. Did you know that Jared Goff is 7-0 against the spread in week 1 and the most profitable quarterback in the last 20 years in week 1? On top of that, Dan Campbell, the most profitable against the spread head coach in the last 5 years, basically his head coaching career in week 1. We love the Lions on this show. We're Lion fans. Me and Sammy, take it to the bank. Lions more -4.5. You can't make the line high enough. Make it 7.5. I don't care. Give me the line.
Slander.
1. All right. Okay, a couple of teasers. These are, I'll tell you what, guys, if my bookie is offering minus 120 on 6-point teasers, sign up because you can't find minus 120 anywhere in Vegas anymore. I think maybe one place. So minus 120 6-point teasers. My God, I need a proxy for Mike. You want to sign me up in Georgia, please? Yeah, plus 10.5. I like the okay. So I like the Bengals. I'm finding a way to attack this Bengal game. I don't know what's going on with Chase. I want to get the Bengals down to -2. So I found 2 teasers to approach that with. One, I also am not high on the Niners this year. Aaron Rodgers, you can do it to me again against the Niners. Please don't. I'm plus 10.5. 2-team tees, 6-point tees, just a plus 10.5. Bengals down to -2. This one I'm a little leery about, but I think Arizona's got some comeback ability this year. But their defense is so bad, it's giving the Bills -0.5 point with that same Bengals -2. I wanted to find ways to get the Bengals -2 into a few bets this week, and those were 2 of the ones I looked off at the start of the week here. So those are my 2 6-point teasers. Sorry to rattle through so fast.
No, you're fine. We have less than 5
7 minutes.
Okay, wait. We have less than 5 minutes. We're approaching the big one here. Prop City, Aaron, please run through your props.
Yeah, I have 2. Ironically, it goes against your Notre Dame theories here. I have Riley Leonard over 1.5 total touchdowns. I think for as bad as he looked against Texas A&M, a product of Texas A&M, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here against Northern Illinois. And then UCF first half -13. I think they do this similar to the New Hampshire game here, and I think we're 21-0 at halftime here. And then maybe Dietz gets his back door.
Sammy, prop bets.
Just one for me. Justin Jefferson is basically the only weapon on the aerial attack that Minnesota is going to have in this game. And when he was healthy last year, he went over the receiving total of 82.5. I think it was like 75% of the time. I think Sam Darnold really needs to tunnel vision him to kind of breed some confidence in that offense. Anyway, I just feel like 82.5 is a very low number in this spot. And what should be 2 mediocre type defenses here. I don't think Sam Darnold will have a good game, but I do think Justin Jefferson will get over that total.
Dietz, you don't have any prop bets, do you?
No, I don't. I'm not much of a prop better. I put a lot of time into trying to find sides and totals. So
I can tell. Let's get to our fire bet. This is one of my funnest. That's bad. One of the most fun segments out there. Fire bets, of course. I'll read you the rules once again. They've changed periodically on the show, but any long shot bets basically. Plus 500 or more on a bet, or plus 500, or I guess 5 legs on a play, whatever. We're just gonna let me have it. Aaron, go ahead.
Great stuff.
Thanks,
all right,
man.
my original fire bet was going to be the Troy Trojans somehow finding a way to beat Memphis this week, and I kind of talked myself out of that. So they were plus 700 to win. I watched that hit. But I'm going to take a fire bet. I'm going to go with a 5-team parlay route here. And it's currently going off at plus 10681. So $10 to win 1,068. I'm going Duke plus money against Northwestern. That one I'm the least confident in. This one's a fun one if it does hit. Michigan plus 240 at home versus Texas. Illinois plus 175 as a 5-point dog to Kansas. The Titans plus 158 against the Bears, and then the Giants that we've all been talking about beating those Vikings at home.
Sammy, what's your fire bet, man?
Oh, that's
I'm going on a full Broncos tear, right? I'm taking the Denver Broncos, not taking the 6 points, but on the money line, and I'm pairing them with the Boise State Broncos to beat Oregon on the fire bet. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but my guess is this pays about as much as Aaron pays because 21-point dogs can be pretty beefy on the fire bet number. So I'm going to take it on the money line. Sorry?
Dietz, what was your fire bet?
I got Giants plus 103 money line, Carolina plus 162, parlayed with Titans plus 155, which I believe makes it about a plus 1250. $10 and win you 1,200 and change if you hit all 3 of those. I'll be betting that personally actually this week. I think all 3 of those teams could win.
I think we changed the rules again.
No, okay, so hear me out. I, as a producer, will try my best. Actually, I will.
Is
I
that
will
not
post
allowed?
the what?
That bet's not
Mine
allowed.
account?
What?
We got like 20 seconds. Go ahead.
It was a 5-leg parlay, guys.
Yeah, it was
I
either
mean,
a 500 dog or a 5-team parlay. So.
Oh, I thought it was plus 500 in a bet. It had to be plus 500 combined bet.
Oh, that's what
I
I
mean-
thought too. I thought it had
Yeah,
to
I
do
mean-
with
okay.
Let's get off.
I know I will post about this. I will post everyone's bets later, just so we can have like everyone's on record on the public. I appreciate you guys for hanging in there. We might have to go to 2 hours. Don't do that. I'm just saying. It's just a thought I'll throw out there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Vegas Square Gambling Show. See you in the morning. Vegas Square Morning Show. MyBookie.ag. Promo code 120Z Sports. Have a great one, guys.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, sir. Oh, you're telling them.